Hi everybody!
So, Atlus announced a showcase out of nowhere, and I'm really excited for that. For this video, I'm going to make my predictions as to what will get announced and shown during the showcase. You also know, if any of my predictions come true, you'll be hearing this a lot in the reaction video.
Tell me when I'm telling lies!
Lord, please, I'm begging of you, do not let this man be right about too much in this show. Because if he is, I know for a fact he's going to do this reaction video and he's going to sound like a mix of fucking Roman Reigns, the tribal chief, and he's going to sound a little bit like stupid Damien Sandow and think that he's everybody's intellectual superior and he's better than everybody because he got things right. And I swear to God, if this happens, I may go to jail because I will take a trip up to Canada so that I can smack this son of a bitch in the next week.
So, let's get into it. So, for my first prediction, I think we're going to get a proper release date for Metaphor ReFantazio. This one is the most likely to happen, but I still want to go deeper into this prediction, as I believe I know when this game is going to release. A few Atlus YouTubers have stated that it'll likely come out in August, which I think is far too early, given we're going to get the re-release of SMT5 in June. That's a little too close, and given they're both turn-based JRPGs at their core, that'll just cannibalize the sales of both projects, so August is clearly out. I even think September is a bit too early, so I think the absolute earliest we'll see Metaphor is late September to early October, which would probably be the best time for Atlus to release it, since a holiday season release will practically guarantee the game sells well. Since Metaphor is a brand new IP, releasing it just ahead of the holiday season makes too much sense. And that's a built-in marketing blitz as a result. If it releases around then, you'll probably see lots of ads for it on my videos around then as well. Speaking of, I'm getting really close to 1,000 subs, and I'm hoping to reach that by the middle of next month. So why not hit the subscribe button? It'd really help the channel out. However, I don't think this is going to be the biggest announcement of the showcase. It is, after all, a showcase. So let's predict some more stuff, shall we? Last summer I covered how there's likely a Persona 5 fighting game in the works. I believe this game is still going to happen, given fighting games are in a far better state than they were when the Persona 4 Arena games came out. There's also the fact rumors indicated the game was cancelled. I'm not particularly buying that one. Given Atlus don't have an in-house fighting game team, they likely contracted another company. More than likely, they hired Arc System Works again, since they have a working relationship, and Arc System Works tend to make consistently solid fighting games. Also, it isn't like they have any announced big projects at present. They're continuing to support Guilty Gear Strive, and they'll be supporting Grand Blue Fantasy Versus Rising for a while as well. So a brand new fighting game from them is definitely on the table. Plus, the Persona fighters draw in an entirely different crowd from the FGC diehards. Sure, there's a lot of overlap between fans of JRPGs and fighting games. My channel proves that.
Oops, I'm breaking the fourth wall.
Yes, it does, and there's surprisingly a lot of overlap between JRPG fans and fighting game fans. I never really thought about that, but yeah, there is a lot, and I mean a lot of overlap between the two, more than I ever thought there was.
Plus, let's face it, Persona 5 is literally Atlus's cash cow. It's the most popular Persona subseries out there, even the spin-offs sell well. Persona 5 Tactica aside, though. Since that's a pretty niche game, tactical RPGs are never big sellers. Fire Emblem is the notable exception. But a Persona 5 Arena would be a great way to finally cap off the Phantom Thieves story arc before the inevitable P4 Arena Ultimax, or whatever it winds up being called. I personally think this prediction is likely to happen. Let's stick with the Phantom Thieves for a bit. My third prediction is they'll announce yet another Persona 5 spin-off project. What this game is likely to be, I have no idea. But like I mentioned in the previous prediction, Persona 5 is literally Atlus's cash cow. They're not going to kill it off, even after Persona 6 releases, because they know they can always rake in the dough with another Persona 5 game. I'm not really sure what kind of spin-off they could do next with the Phantom Thieves. Maybe it'll be a Striker sequel. If you have any predictions as for what Persona 5 spin-off we might see or what else could be announced during the showcase, sound off in the comments section. So what is my fourth prediction? If you've been following the leaker Midori on X, you'll know she stated previously that a Persona 4 remake is in the works. Given how 2025 is looking like a fairly weak year in terms of releases, a Persona 4 remake could slot in quite nicely. I swear, I didn't just hold off on the Persona 4 prediction until my fourth one. It just worked out that way.
Yeah, okay, my dude. And I got some swampland down in Florida for a good price. Come on. Ain't nobody buying this bullshit. Ain't nobody buying it. Okay? Not even at the lowest of the low price. And as a great man and former wrestler once said, but not even the $1 Million Man himself would buy your bullshit at that price.
But given Midori's track record of being right most of the time, and the fact Persona 3 Reload was announced out of seemingly nowhere, it makes a lot of sense. Especially since Persona 4 could do with a new coat of paint, and an update would bring the game to a whole new audience. It'd make more sense than Persona 3 Reload did, considering we'd just gotten Persona 3 Portable ported to the PlayStation 4 a year earlier. P4 Golden has been available on all platforms for a while now, and it goes on sale frequently, so it's safe to say that game has reached saturation point for potential purchases. But a remake would be welcomed, and it'd sell insanely well. It'd also work with Atlus's new business model of releasing one game early in the year, publishing a VanillaWare game a month or two after that, porting a definitive edition of a previous game at some point in the summer, then release another big project during the holiday push. I think this prediction is also quite likely to happen, given the leak from Midori and the fact there's now a high demand to bring Persona 4 more in line with the gameplay of Persona 3 Reload and Persona 5 Royal. Since I just mentioned VanillaWare, let's discuss the possibilities of something from them appearing at the showcase. Okay, this fifth prediction I have a lot less confidence in than my other ones. VanillaWare do often use Atlus as their publishing partner. There are also a few VanillaWare games that could use a new coat of paint. Kumatanchi is one option as that game never got a Western release. It's a 2008 title for the Nintendo DS. It's a game where you take care of anthropomorphic girls. I don't think that one is likely ever to come to the West, given it's a little too weird and a little too niche, which is saying something as VanillaWare games really don't cater to the normies, and that's a good thing.
Tell me when I'm telling lies!
Yep, and it's what gives them the iconic status that they have. I mean, they have some of the best art styles out there, they have some of the best gameplay out there, and they also tell some of the best stories out there, and it's because they do what they want to do. They do what they're passionate about, and they don't care what anybody else has to say about them. So VanillaWare, me and Colin here, we both love you to death. Keep doing what you're doing.
I think Grand Knight's History is a possibility for getting the remaster treatment. That game was a Japanese tactical RPG from 2011. It remained exclusive to the PSP in Japan. There were plans for Xseed Games to localize it for North America, and Rising Star Games to localize it for Europe. Both localizations were later cancelled. However, given Unicorn Overlord is also a tactical RPG and only released this year, I don't imagine it's too likely we'll see Grand Knight's History released in the West anytime soon. So that really only leaves us with one potential option, since the rest of VanillaWare's most famous games have been remastered for modern systems. So what game am I talking about? That would be Muramasa the Demon Blade / Muramasa Rebirth. The initial release for this side-scrolling hack and slash was in 2009 for the Wii. It was later remastered with additional content for the PlayStation Vita in 2013, and it's a massively underrated title. If you have a Vita still, pick this game up. You won't be disappointed. I picked it up as part of the monthly PS Plus games when they were still adding Vita titles to that list. I highly recommend it. But do I think this prediction is likely to happen? Probably not. I kind of doubt we'll see anything from VanillaWare, but I'm happy to be wrong. This is yet another long-shot prediction, but now is the only appropriate time to talk about it. So let's do so now. Midori has indicated there are remakes for the first 2 Persona games in the works, and other sources have also recently reported on this. I do think this is going to happen, but I don't think they're ready for prime time yet. I imagine the absolute earliest we're going to hear about these games is sometime during 2025. Atlus fans are always complaining the company forgets about the first 2 Persona games, which is a little frustrating for me, since it's not hard to see why they don't do much regarding the first 2 titles, if you actually use your brain. Those games are antiquated design-wise. They also share more in common with their parent series Shin Megami Tensei than they do with the modern Persona games, given the social sim elements didn't appear until Persona 3. P3 is literally where the Persona games began developing their own identities. Before that, they were just simplified versions of the mainline SMT games. So if Atlus was to remake those games, they'd have to choose whether they wanted to go the faithful remake route, or if they wanted to forge an entirely new take on them and make them work more like the contemporary Persona games, which is for sure going to piss people off no matter which route they take. If they remake them faithfully, then contemporary Persona fans are going to complain the games aren't like the ones they enjoy, and if they make the games more in line with modern Persona games, then the SMT diehards are going to complain all the more about Persona being baby's first SMT. So it's basically a lose-lose situation for Atlus here. Just like the Final Fantasy VII Remake line of games is kind of lose-lose for Square Enix, since the changeover to action combat pissed off the purists, as did a lot of the changes to the storyline. I'll cover that can of worms eventually.
Yep, and I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun with Dollar Store George Colin whenever that video comes out, so be on the lookout for that.
I imagine this prediction, if it happens, is going to be the capstone of the event. I think there's a strong possibility we get a Persona 6 teaser trailer, given the game is rumored to come out next year. If you think that's likely to be the last thing shown during the showcase, hit the like button and help this video spread to more JRPG fans. Like I said previously, this is being billed as a showcase, so it just makes too much sense for Atlus to announce more than just Metaphor-related things. If you look at the way they're marketing this event, it says featuring Metaphor. Also, since Persona 6 is likely releasing next year, what better way to drive up hype for it than to announce it during this showcase, then over the next 12 plus months, show off more and more things related to the game. We already know the color theme for P6 will be green. I'm working on my wishlist for Persona 6, so subscribe if you want to see that video. So those are my predictions for what we'll see during this showcase. Do you think it'll exclusively be Metaphor-related content? Let me know in the comments. Thanks go out to my current channel members, R. Campbell and Danny Boy. If you'd like to help the channel out further, you can do so by hitting the join button or clicking the link in the description. Want more of my Atlus videos? Check out why you need to support Metaphor ReFantazio, or check out my video predicting when we'll see Persona 6. Until next time, keep blazing that trail.